Hey guys, Cineclan Gaming here, bringing you a Dragon's Guide. Last time I did a Giant's Guide, and one of the people who watched it told me that I should do a Dragon's Guide as well. So here goes. So this guide, like the Giant's Guide, will be starting from beginners dragons to speed clear in the end. So yeah, let's get started. So for the first Dragons team, you should definitely have Veramos in it. Veramos, Bella is probably the core, and then you can go two ways. This way is a reviver way. So in my case, I use Plady. I literally used this exact same team back when I first started farming dragons, and except Darien was not here and Aman was. But in the end, it feels like these two are pretty much the same. I don't have Aman Ruin at the moment, so I didn't really want to, move around the ruins or anything like that. So I just could use Darien. But I'm gonna assure you that Aman definitely works as well. And yeah, so the point of this team is that you have another healer except Bella, which in my case was Aman, but Darien can be the same, similar because he has damage reduction. So in the end, yeah, it's kind of like they have a little bit of synergy together. So for the reviver, you can use Brian, you can use McKeen, you can use Michelle, Iona obviously, but not everyone has her. Eladriel, like all of these would work. One thing to mention is that if you want to use Brian, I suggest that the last slot you bring another healer. It can be Chasun even, because Brian evens out the HP, and sometimes it's just not enough to for Bella to sustain the whole team if it's Brian. If it's McKeen or who's that other one? Michelle, then yeah, you can kind of use something else. You don't really need to use another healer, barring themselves because they heal themselves as well. And the last slot, you can bring damage reduction or even Economia. That works as well. So with this team, you'd be wanting to go left tower, right tower, then dragon. It's pretty safe. The worst case scenario is your reviver killing the tower, but I don't think that's that possible because they're not supposed to do much damage in the first place. And if your Plady actually kill left tower and someone kill right tower, then it's kind of unfortunate. But otherwise, it's very safe. Even if Plady or let's say Brian kills the right tower, and you have 4 people left, it's still enough. You can use this team to the 4 remaining numbers to actually just kill the dragon in the end, because yeah. I chose Burner here. I'm gonna use Burner for every single fight, for every single example except my last one, which is the speed clear, because I think Bernard is actually like you can replace Verd with Bernard kind of. So in this case, it's the second beginners team, which consists of Beretta and Mav. So the reasoning behind this is that my Beretta is not max skilled, and it takes forever for me to kill the tower if I don't bring a Mav. And plus Mav gives a speed. Sorry about that. That was a bit laggy on my part. Mav gives a speed buff, which Burner also gives. Mav also cleanses 1 debuff, which sometimes Veramos cannot cleanse due to speed tuning issues. So if you don't want to go left right tower and you have a Beretta, you can try this team. It should work. Again, the core is Veramos and Bella. Nothing really matters except that Beretta actually lands 2-3 turn dots on the 2 towers on left and right. And sometimes when Bella kind of, strips the dragon, Beretta will land Turbulence on the dragon. And then it will kind of help you as well because the dragon won't be really able to move. Mav first skill is kind of useless on the boss stage, but can be useful in the first few stages. Also, his second skill has a provoke. Sometimes it's useful in the first few stages. For last stage, it's pretty much just a heal for himself. Again, if you have a max skill Beretta, this will be a lot smoother and it'll be faster because you'll be landing more dots due to the cooldown reduction coming from your third skill. And yeah. this should work. Again, I'm not using Verd because a lot of people who have trouble with dragons don't have him, and I really do think that a Bernard is an okay replacement in the end, because Bernard is like the speed buff that he provides. Well, although Verd provides more attack bar, speed buff is also pretty good. Obviously, you can kind of argue that, oh, Mav gives speed buff in this team, but to be honest, doesn't really matter. So these two are the beginner dragons team that you really just want to use in the beginning, as your first team. As time goes on, the team will definitely change. So for this, when should you use this? When should you start building dragons team? Is after about 2 months of farming giants. You'll have some good despair runes and swift runes, and you can kind of just slap them on your Veramos Bella, etc. Yep. Okay, next up is a single nuker team. So in my case, I chose Theomars because he is kind of like farmable. You can use Sigmarus, it will probably work better because it does more damage at the boss stage due to max HP, and it clears trash waves faster as well. Plus, attack debuff is always useful against pretty much anything. So if I had my choice, I would be using Tower here, but since not everyone has a Tower, I'll just use a slightly farmable one, which in this case is Theomars. Yeah, again, I'm using Bernard because I want to show that Bernard also works. You don't have to have a Verd, although it will make things a lot easier if you do. Yeah, so for this stage, sometimes Plady will silence a dragon, which is kind of useful. And otherwise, it's not much different from what I explained in the first one, because you can use Brian, Michelle, McKean, anything would work. McKean has glancing, I think, and that will work. Recoverable is kind of useless, but that's fine. Plus, McKean can also land stuns or freezes on those crystals, which helps you from getting armor broken. And for this, you would also want to go left-right boss, because you're bringing a reviver. The point of being a reviver is so that when you kill the dragon, the tower on the left and right, you don't lose that member. And so I still do recommend on going left, right, and tower. If your speed is up to par, you can go right and then tower, because right and then dragon. I'm sorry, I meant dragon for the previous said things. Yeah, so if you have enough speed, you can kind of just do right tower then dragon. But if you feel like you're having trouble dealing with the dots, then go ahead and kill the left one first, because the left tower is a lot squishier than the right one. As you can see, my Theomars kind of just killed the left tower instead of letting the dog tick it to death. While on the other hand, on the right tower, it's taking a while, and I'm not even sure if it can die from dots. Nope. Yep, I think Theomars is going to kill it again, but it takes a lot longer for me to kill this one compared to the left one. And the bad thing about Plady is that she kind of uses her third skill as a heal, and it's not that good always. Of course, if you have a beta, you can use it here as well. Pretty much any reviver would work. Michelle might have a higher ruin requirement because she's a little bit squishier than Brian and is wind type, but apart from that, everything is pretty much the same. Obviously, if you're going to use Sig, then you will use Sig Lead, because Sig Lead is 44% HP compared to 33. And if you have Verd, then maybe you don't want to do a left-right tower and then Dragons team. So it's all up to you to think when you can swap it around. Basically, the moment when you think your DPS can survive the boss, due to your supports being faster, you can swap out your X Factor, which was Darian in my last run. and swap it out for a nuker, Sigmarus works very, very well. So if you don't have him, you can fuse him. You can use him in Giants as well. He's a very good monster. Okay, so basically, yeah, next up is going to be the current team that I run, except I don't use Steel Mars and I use Tower. In this case, I'm bringing 2 strippers in order to strip the immunity, and I'm going straight face. Again, I don't use Bernard, I use Verd, but for the sake of the people who don't have Verd, I'm still going to use Bernard, and it will show that he still works. So definitely I use Tower more. Towers does more damage and can kind of just one-shot the trash waves, but Theomars cannot. But Theomars gives an armor break, so I guess it's something. But yeah, Sigmarus again is a very good choice here. So people who have Sig can run Sig lead, Veramos, Bella, Megan, Bernard if they don't have Verd as well. When you use this team, basically when you feel like you have enough damage to kill the boss below 30%, because that's when he becomes enraged, and that's when you need to kill him as soon as possible. Again, Sigmarus has max HP damage. That means he will do a lot of damage to the boss, even without armor break. So, and he has attack debuff, which is very useful for the first few stages, as well as a boss when he doesn't have immunity. The point of bringing double strip is that if one fails to strip, the other will try to strip as well. So the good thing about Megan and Bella is that their AI is both smart for the dungeon. They will only use Seize or Toad Poison when the dragon has a buff on. Other cases, Megan will prioritize her buff, and Bella will prioritize heal if people are low. If people are not low, then she just uses her armor break, which is perfect for our current situation. Megan is good. There's another variant of this team which involves a similar comp, except no Megan and add in a Spectra. The point of having a Spectra is so that the Spectra can reduce the tower's attack bar and slow it so that they kind of like put on less immunity. Meanwhile, Bella can strip the boss and the team members can kind of do damage to it. Plus, slow and attack bar reduction on the left tower can also lead to less dots being put on the team, which relieves the pressure of Veramos' speed. However, Spectra is very squishy, and he is kind of known as a suicidal birdie, as he uses 10% of his health every time he uses his second skill. And without armor break, that skill is actually not going to do that much damage. So I'll leave that there, and we can talk about the last team. This team, this run was kind of unlucky because I didn't manage to land armor break a lot of times. Usually it would be like 2 minutes 45 or something like that. And tower would be something like 2 minutes 12. That's the usual time that I get. And finally, we are going to see a speed clear. So this is obviously not the best speed clear. The most commonly seen is Verd, Double Tark, Spectra, and Galleon. That's the most commonly seen. Very, very strong team, very, very fast. For my team, the reasoning behind this is that Juan Galleon can kind of slow the boss by reducing their attack bar. Tower does a lot of damage, and Tower's third skill can land slow on the 2 towers if he manages to land it. Verd, of course, increases attack bar, and Lisa has a cleanse and some attack cooldown reduction, because whoever she teams up with will get a -1 cooldown. That's about it. However, my units aren't ruined for this because, for example, I didn't max Lisa's second skill and she has 8% accuracy. Another example is my tower has low accuracy, so there's that. And Hua is probably better on Violent instead of Swift, but I have to use her for raid, so she is on Swift. And yes, so you see what happens here is Lisa manages to cleanse the debuff, the boss's buff. If she didn't cleanse the boss's buff, I would have a little bit of a problem here because no one will be able to actually do damage to the boss due to no armor break. However, since I managed to land it, I managed to kill the boss. Sorry for the lag here. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. I feel like if you want to improve your dragons runs, it's a kind of like a long time project. It's not like you can do it overnight. You need to build units, you need to improve your runes. And if you have any questions, like, comment, subscribe, and list them below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.